Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. Today we are talking about the eastern section of the Trans-America Trail. Hey guys, I am your host Adam Sandoval, and I'm going to be walking you through what I just experienced on the Trans-America Trail on the eastern section. I'm preparing now to leave for the western section. Please click that subscribe button down below because it is going to be crazy when we go across this western section, and you're going to want to catch up on all that material. Or if you like campgrounds, animals, ATVs, street bikes, anything gas, you're going to want to follow this channel. Let's get this video started. So for the eastern section of the TAT, I chose to ride a 2017 Honda Africa Twin. I've got it outfitted very nicely. If you want, you can click this link right up here and you get the full review of all the parts I put on that bike to make this happen. It rode great. I will give you a full review of that DCT automatic transmission in a separate video. But for now, what y'all are here for, the eastern section of the TAT. So when I say the eastern section of the TAT, I'm talking from North Carolina over to Oklahoma. Okay, that is what I consider the eastern section. It's right around 2,000 miles. For myself, I started just outside of Maggie Valley. That's where I was told that the trail got best. For me, this wasn't about making a trip coast to coast, as I've done that multiple times. You can see on my videos in my playlists if you like. It was about getting off-road and me being a new off-roader and experiencing that off-road travel. For my map systems, I use the GPS Kevin systems. They give you big maps like this, and these will break it down about 400 mile sections each page. And then of course it comes with some pocket maps like this, which break it down into like about 100 mile sections. And then lastly, I use the GPS on my bike. But anytime I wanted to see what was ahead of me or behind me or how far I had to go, I found these maps much more convenient to use. I just had them stuffed in my Moscow Moto duffel on the back of my bike. I could flip it open. We could go through them and look and see how far it was to the next gas station or the next stop. It really was the easiest system to use. Also, you will see on the small ones, they've got green and red trails marked out. The red are the most difficult. The blue is the original Trans-America Trail. 90% of the time I stayed on the blue. I didn't do any red, and I'm glad I didn't. I'll tell you why later in the video. And then the green, a lot of times are just faster bypasses if you want to get through a section. I'll touch on that too when we get to the other side of the Smoky Mountain National Park. But for now, let's start in Maggie Valley. So Maggie Valley is in North Carolina, and the TAT section there is amazingly beautiful. The Smoky Mountains have always been some of my favorite riding. But you go over some good sized grades, a lot of twisty, windy back roads, but 90% pavement in North Carolina. There's not very much dirt. We hit a couple gravel road sections and we got a little excited about it.
Baby, tell the people what we got.
Gravel!
I have rode through that portion of North Carolina probably 4 or 5 times, and I was able to ride some roads that I've never ridden before. Moving on to Tennessee. Tennessee was pretty great. Smoky Mountain National Park's amazing. I will say there was a place called Cades Cove, and I caught it on a Saturday and it left me for hours in traffic. I would definitely recommend avoiding that. You'll see this little green road here, and that is bypassing Cades Cove, and I would definitely recommend doing that if you're taking that section. You will literally get pinned at less than 2 miles an hour to catch it on a busy day. Coming out of Deal's Gap, that's the Tail of the Dragon. Of course, the TAT's gonna take you right down the Tail of the Dragon, which is super cool. You get to ride that. Tail of the Dragon is not one of my best rides. I know it's a lot of people's best rides. Not for me. I like the sweepy corners and the scenery. If it's a bucket list thing, go do it, just so you can say you did it. But my opinion, Tail of the Dragon's really well marketed, but I've got far better roads right here outside the Cave River Campground in Moyers, Oklahoma, like the Tallahassee Skyway. I would say the rest of the Tennessee was primarily paved roads littered with a little gravel. So I'd say probably 70% paved roads through the rest of Tennessee and maybe 30% gravel. But it is where I ran into my biggest challenge to that point. That water crossing is right after Tellico Plains. The water crossings are fun at first. When we hit that 4th water crossing, it got real serious. The water levels were deep, and there was a rutted out left side, which looked like it was gonna be really deep and probably more difficult. The right side had shelves and it was more shallow. Made you want to take that right side, but all the guys, you know what? Why don't you take a clip out of that water crossing and you can see what we did and why we did it.
Okay, so this is the one they were talking about. They say it's deeper on the left, that's where you want to go. This is going to be a problem.
The rest of Tennessee pretty much followed the dirt road, gravel road 70-30 rule. When we hit Mississippi, we got more dirt roads, and it was that red dirt road, and we got to enjoy that for a while. It was really good, and then that led us into Arkansas, and Arkansas is where things got real for us. Mainly on the western side of the state, I would say Arkansas was probably 20 or 30% paved roads, probably 70% dirt roads. This is where I realized it was not good to take red trails. Not because I took a red trail, but because I got tested to the maximum of my ability on a blue trail. Yeah, so I dropped it, she dropped it, we were in over our heads and we were on a blue trail. So I did not try any red trails, but if the blue trails get that difficult, I probably don't belong on the red trails, certainly not with a bike that big. Arkansas was a lot of fun. We took it all the way over just about to the Oklahoma border before we cut back down to my campground, the Cade River Campground here in Moyers. This area of Arkansas was by far the most difficult of the entire eastern section of the TAT. If I had to recommend a buddy who just wanted to ride off-road, I would honestly tell him to skip everything and just do Arkansas. It was by far the most beautiful. And it really shares the landscape we have here. I've got hundreds of miles of off-road trails right around me here, and I found the Arkansas trails to be very similar. A lot of creeks, a lot of small mountains, a lot of forests, a lot of water crossings. It's really great riding all across the board. So that's where we cut the 2.5 hours down to my campground, came back here where we're regrouping, waiting for some snow to melt in the Rockies before we head west next week. So there you have it. That is my quick, to the point recap of the eastern half of the TAT. I wish to God somebody else would have put this out sooner so that I could have reviewed it. It would have helped me make some decisions on my trip. If y'all didn't yet, please click that subscribe button. And if you've ridden the TAT before, or if there's something you want to know, tell me about it down in the comments below. I do read them all, and I look forward to seeing what you all say. So thank you very much. Enjoy your TAT adventure if that's what you're planning coming up. I'm absolutely glad I'm doing it. I've absolutely loved it, and I'm sure you will too. Just know for that eastern section, lower your expectations. It's some gravel, some dirt, but a lot of pavement. All right, y'all, that's my best advice for you. Go out and enjoy the TAT, and remember, when you're out there on the trail, there's one thing we like to say on this channel, and that is to stay stubborn. You might want to just take that advice when you get into those harder sections. I hope y'all get out there on the TAT, and if you do, tag me in some of your posts on Instagram or Facebook. You'll find my channels there, and there, you know, who knows, maybe I'll share one of your TAT pictures across my channels. We'll see y'all later.